So let's talk a little bit, just very dip our toe in the neuroscience of it. Talk about the mechanics of it. So the limbic system is represented in orange on the screen. It is a collection of organs in the brain whose basic job is to keep us safe. So specifically the amygdala sounds the alarm whenever any type of threat is detected. And you've probably heard of that fight, flight, freeze response. Yeah? It's the amygdala that's responsible for initiating that. Yeah? It's the siren that calls the firemen to. So there is a really good reason why we need a negativity bias. We have a negativity bias, right? So that also helps keep us stuck because it's easier for us to see negative things. So there's a really good reason why we need that. So if a lion is about to eat me, and I stop and I think, I wonder if it's had breakfast. Yeah? Ooh, there's a tree over there, I could climb that tree. Or maybe I should run that way. What's probably happened? It's already eaten me, right? Yeah. So we need the negativity bias to keep us safe. And in the same way, if there's a car screeching towards me, I'm going to react before it hits my conscious mind. So scientists, there's slight variations in what different scientists say, but on the whole, this roundabout. Our conscious mind can process 40 bits of information per second. Right? Out of the total, 11 million bits of information per second. So that is 10,999,960 bits of information per second that is handled by our unconscious brain. So we're only aware of a tiny, tiny part of what's going on, right? So what determines what gets through that narrow gap into our conscious mind? So there's two basic filters. Now whenever we're talking neuroscience, of course we're talking massive oversimplification. People spend their whole lives studying this stuff. But essentially there's two filters. And the first filter is safety. So anything that could threaten us, the lion trying to eat me, is going to stimulate that response. It gets the emergency services vehicle lane, the priority lane, into that narrow gap into our conscious mind. And it's not just physical threats to our safety. It's anything that our limbic system determines to be a threat to us. So if there's a situation that we find difficult, and we think that it could reflect how people see us, we're going to react, our brain will react exactly the same way as if there was a physical threat to our safety. And scientists have proved that the exact same part of the brain is activated when we detect a threat like, if I don't finish this report, people will see me badly. Or if I don't do well in the situation, it might affect how I see. We react exactly the same way that we do as if a lion was trying to eat us. And of course emotions, right? So what about the second filter? So that's the priority lane. So that overrides anything. Whatever else is going on overrides if there's a threat to our safety. So the second filter is about what we usually focus on or take interest in. So that's powerful, right? So if we usually focus on things that trigger us, things that trigger unresourceful states, then the filter's going to let through more of that, right? So if you ever bought something that you've never seen anywhere before, and then suddenly you see it everywhere, yeah? Or the advertising algorithm, you ever search something up on the interweb, and then you get bombarded with ads about it for months, yeah? Well, that's how our brains are as well. So the great news is there that we have a huge amount of influence over what gets let through that filter. So that which 40 bits of information out of a possible 11 million actually come through into our conscious awareness. And by shifting our focus onto something that generates a more helpful state, a more resourceful state, we can change our experience. Woo! Who's happy about that? Yes! Right, awesome.